Hey there, welcome to Story Voyage. Today, I've got a gripping story for you, one that starts with betrayal and unfolds into a shocking web of lies and deceit. You won't believe the twists and turns in this journey of heartbreak, discovery, and ultimately, freedom. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this unbelievable tale together. I wish I could say that this all started with her cheating, but looking back now, I realize it had been building for years. The signs were there, but I was too blind to see them, or maybe I just didn't want to see them. Sometimes it's easier to stay in your little bubble of happiness, pretending everything is okay. But that bubble burst, and when it did, it left a wreckage I'm still trying to sort through. Let me take you back to the beginning. We had been married for 10 years, and for the most part, I thought things were good. Sure, we had our ups and downs like any couple, but we had a nice home, good jobs, and plans for the future. We'd met in college, fell in love quickly, and built a life together. From the outside, we looked like the perfect couple, but behind closed doors, cracks were starting to show. I noticed that she had become distant about 2 years ago. It started with little things, her coming home late from work, saying she had to stay longer for meetings, or taking up more solo hobbies like yoga and weekend trips with her friends. I never questioned it because I trusted her completely. I knew she was ambitious, and I assumed she was just putting extra effort into her career. But the distance between us grew. Conversations became shallow, as if she wasn't really present. Our intimacy dwindled, and it felt like she was always finding excuses to avoid spending time with me. I chalked it up to stress, thinking it was just a rough patch we'd get through together. How wrong I was. How? One night, about a year ago, she came home later than usual. She smelled like someone else's cologne. When I asked her where she had been, she said she had drinks with a female colleague. I wanted to believe her, but something about it didn't sit right with me. I didn't say anything at the time, though I didn't want to seem insecure or jealous. A week later, she left her phone on the kitchen counter while she was showering. Normally, I'd never look through her phone. I respected her privacy. But that night, something told me to check. I felt guilty even thinking about it, but curiosity got the best of me. As soon as I opened her messaging app, my stomach dropped. There were dozens of messages between her and a man named Mark. They weren't explicit, but they were enough to confirm my suspicions. They talked about meeting up, about how great last night was, and about future plans. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. This wasn't just a fling, it had been going on for months. When I confronted her, she didn't even try to deny it. She sat there stone-faced and admitted that she had been seeing him. But what shocked me most wasn't the cheating itself, it was how cold and emotionless she seemed. Like it was no big deal. She said it was a mistake, that it didn't mean anything, and promised to break it off. I was devastated, but I still loved her. I wanted to believe that it was just a stupid mistake, something we could work through. So I forgave her, or at least I tried to. For a while, things seemed to get better. She was more attentive, spending more time with me, and we started seeing a marriage counselor. I thought we were making progress, but the trust had been shattered, and I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. As I started paying more attention to her behavior, I noticed more inconsistencies. She had a new excuse every week, staying late at work, going on business trips, hanging out with friends I'd never met. Something wasn't adding up. I started doing some digging on my own. I reached out to her colleagues, asking casually if they had seen her at the office on the night she claimed to be working late. Turns out she wasn't. That's when I realized the affair wasn't over. She had just gotten better at hiding it. But this time, it wasn't just Mark. The more I uncovered, the darker things got. I hacked into her email, something I never thought I'd do in a million years, but I had to know the truth. What I found was a trail of deceit that spanned not just months, but years. She had been lying to me about more than just the affair. There were financial secrets, hidden credit card bills, unexplained transfers of money to an account I didn't know existed. She had taken out loans in both of our names without telling me. Yet worse, she had been spending our savings on luxury items and vacations she had gone on with her various lovers. I even found emails between her and a private investigator she had hired on me. She had been digging into my life, trying to find dirt on me, likely in case I ever tried to leave her. The paranoia, the manipulation, it was all so calculated. But the final straw came when I discovered that she had been planning to leave me long before I found out about the affair. She had been preparing for a divorce behind my back, securing her financial future, while leaving me with nothing. I confronted her again, but this time I wasn't the same person I was a year ago. I was done being manipulated. I laid out everything I had discovered, and for the first time I saw fear in her eyes. She tried to backtrack, to make excuses, but it was too late. I had all the proof I needed. I filed for divorce the next day. The divorce was messy, as expected. She tried to fight me for everything: our house, my business, even the little things like the furniture. But with the evidence I had gathered, the court saw through her lies. In the end, I walked away with my dignity, my freedom, and most of our assets intact. She, on the other hand, lost everything. It's been a year since the divorce was finalized, and I'm still processing everything that happened. I spent years loving someone who was a stranger, a master manipulator who had built an entire life based on lies. It's hard to come to terms with the fact that the person you thought you knew was never real. But I've learned to trust my instincts again, and I've moved on with my life. The scars are still there, but they're healing. And as painful as it all was, I'm grateful that I finally saw the truth. Because in the end, her cheating was just the beginning of a much darker web of lies. Thank you for sticking with me through this intense story. If you enjoyed it and want to hear more stories like this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Story Voyage. Your support means the world, and it helps me bring even more captivating stories your way. Until next time, take care and keep exploring.